Okay, so before we start, I'd just like to apologize if I look or sound like shit because for those of you who may not know, if you watch the Oscars in the UK, that takes place from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. basically, and so I had about 3 hours of sleep. I'm at school, I still have lessons to go to, and I'm pretty shattered. But there is a lot to talk about, and I know for sure that I will not be able to remember everything I want to say. But in the words of Frances McDormand,
But if I fall over, pick me up because I've got some things to say.
so yeah, the Oscars were last night, and it went pretty much as expected for the most part, with the one exception of The Shape of Water, which is a surprise for me because I expected Three Billboards, and Shape of Water won Best Picture. But in my predictions video, I said that do not be surprised if The Shape of Water comes out from underneath and wins, because that's what Moonlight did last year. So next year I'll be sure to keep an eye out and probably predict that the underdog will win, because of course Shape of Water and Moonlight were both underdogs to Three Billboards and La La Land. But I'm very glad for Guillermo del Toro and the entire team because it was just such a brilliant film. And I have to say that this was definitely a big year for Mexico because of course you have Guillermo del Toro winning his Best Director Oscar, which by the way is super well deserved, so glad for him. And now he's sort of completed the trifecta of Mexican directors, Guillermo del Toro, Alfonso Cuarón, and Alejandro Iñárritu. And of course Coco winning Best Song and Best Animated Feature. I'm going to take the time to talk about Best Song just a bit because a lot of people thought that The Greatest Showman would win. Now, I have not seen The Greatest Showman, but I've heard the song everywhere and I know it's a good song and stuff. And, I thought that it was going to win as well. And when they performed it, and everyone just stood up. And by the way, side note here, when they performed like the song for Marshall, they kind of like told people to stand up, so people kind of had to stand up, otherwise it would have been awkward. But with the Greatest Showman, everyone stood up because they were just so into it. And, I thought that surely this was going to win. But then Coco won. And I was like, oh, yeah, fair enough. Remember Me is a beautiful song and it definitely deserves the Oscar. And so I'm happy for that. Now, let's talk about the acting categories. They all went as expected. You had Sam Rockwell, Alston Janney, Gary Oldman all giving great speeches. But of course, Frances McDormand, the showstopper, one of the best Oscar speeches. And I think what will go down as one of the most memorable moments. It was just great. Frances McDormand is just a legend, and her speeches, this is, we kind of knew that she was going to win, and I was just excited to see her speech, because all of the speeches that she has given, at the Golden Globes, at the SAG, were all really good, but now this is just her best. I mean, she was just so great.
Miss Boyne!
Now let's talk about some of the technical stuff. Of course, you have Dunkirk winning the Sound Awards, which I think Baby Driver should have gotten at least one. Dunkirk also won Best Editing, and I loved, the speech from the guy. I thought he was quite funny. He just randomly thanked Matthew McConaughey. That was great. But I thought that Baby Driver should have. I don't know. I just feel like Baby Driver at least deserved one Oscar. Best Score went to Alexander Desplat, who definitely deserved it. The score for Shape of Water was beautifully composed, and of course, we have to talk about my man, the Deke, Roger Deakins, winning Best Cinematography. Finally, it feels so good. I mean, this is just, I don't even know, it's Roger Deakins. He's the greatest cinematographer in history, has just received his first Oscar, and I'm just so happy for him, so proud. And I guess the main thing that I haven't really touched on yet is Jimmy Kimmel, how he hosted the show, what I thought of that. And, I have to say that compared to last year, I feel like they're a little bit more serious this year because, Jimmy Kimmel had to, in his opening monologue, had to address a lot of the sort of the elephants in the room because there were quite a few. And I think, they did take it a little bit seriously, and it was more about addressing these things than the sort of the entertainment factor, which is absolutely fine. But I just wish that maybe Kimmel could have had one or two more jokes in there just to make it a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit more entertaining, more relaxed for the audience. And of course, this is the 90th Oscars, which is a pretty big deal. And I like that they sort of took their time to sort of look back at, you know, the Oscars, look back at films, look back at the history of films. And I love the sort of the first black and white opening. I just thought that was really great. And of course you have Jordan Peele winning Best Original Screenplay. Great for him. I mean, just so great to see Jordan Peele get this recognition, this level of recognition. I'm really happy for him. One thing I think that Jimmy Kimmel did really, really well was when he sort of talked about how, you know, you can say whatever you want. You're not going to get played off. You can speak for as long as you want. You can address all the issues that you want. You can thank everyone you want. But whoever has the shortest speech will get a jet ski. And I just thought that was hilarious because we had some really great moments, you know, whether it was Jordan Peele, whether it was Sam Rockwell, or the people who composed and wrote the song for Coco, Remember Me, and Roger Deakins all made jokes about the jet ski. And at the end, it went to the costume designer for Phantom Thread, who I believe did it in 36 seconds, his speech. Insane, and good for him. You get a jet ski. But yeah, no, I thought that was a great way to not only make people feel at ease when they're giving longer speeches, but also keeping the show a little bit short, because, you know, you're kind of addressing the fact that the Oscars have been sometimes too long, too boring. But no, I thought that overall Jimmy Kimmel did a great job, and you had Lakeith Stanfield doing the whole like Get Out thing, which I thought was hilarious. But yeah, no, it was really great. But overall, I have to say that this was a very, very good Oscars, and it's the first that I've ever watched from start to finish. It's the first ever that I've watched live, and it's an experience that I'll definitely never forget. That's pretty much it, guys. I guess thank you very much for watching all my Oscar videos, all my Oscar coverage. I don't know what to say anymore. I'm very tired. Thank you very much, guys, for watching. Thank you.